Let's put another slicer on and a timeline. So if I go in to my pivot table, I find my slicer and I decide what I want to slice it by. Let's say that the job duration is important. No, that is not. So it's not the right one. So I'm going to do another slicer. You can choose what you like. Let's pick the site name again. And these are our site names here. We might want to pop that in somewhere for them to select from all those site names. Again, if I want to relate it, when I click on the slicer, I can do the report connections, so it's connected to both pivot tables. And then when I click on these, this relates to whatever I have selected, and I can use my control key to see how things work. So it's very interactive. I'm going to put in a timeline now. So if I go back here and put a timeline in, we've got that one date that we've used. What that does is it puts a timeline in, and it means that I can simply click on an area and say, only show me the data for that particular time range. So instead of having to use drop downs or anything like that, providing my dates are properly dates and they have been set out, then the timeline works really well. And I have a timeline report connection, so I can link it to both tables and I can use that. So if we now go to our view and we'll take the grid lines off and the formula bar, you can see now that that is a dashboard, exactly the same as maybe using your COUNTIFs or your SUMIFs, but instead it's using pivot table functionality, which if you learn how to use these is the beginnings of moving into Power BI reporting. So if I had this pivot table here, maybe it was constantly being updated, I would set out my pivot table dashboard. I do need to consider them growing, of course, like I said. I put my slicers on, I put any timelines on, I put any graphics, and it's very easy then to see the information very quickly when you are looking at that data.